definitely is a lot warmer inside than it is outside. And that crackling does warm me up. Even if it's not kicking off heat, it makes you feel
Oh, it's
warm.
kicking off heat.
But it is kicking. You two know. Okay, yeah.
Marie and I are right.
So we don't burn a fire in Charleston unless it's really cold out. And we've got wind chills in the teens today. And it's cold out there. Probably the coldest day we've had in years here in Charleston. But
actually, Rich, this sets a new wind chill cold record.
oh, did it? Okay.
And the last time this record was set was the year I was born. That shows you how long it has been.
I was going to say it was the last time the Patriots won the Super Bowl, and it's maybe prophetic that we're going to win one next week.
I think so, but I don't know if that was the case.
Yeah. Well, we're probably going to jump into giving you all an update on the prayer weekend, which was on December 12th and 13th in 2025. Not to ask you to pray for the Patriots next week, because that's not where we're going to go. But I guess if they do, that's okay. Yeah. So we're going to give you an update of what happened on the prayer weekend. I'll turn it over to Julie.
Yeah, it was a great weekend. We had about 24 hours, and I can't remember exactly how many couples just here in Charleston we got together.
About 7 or 8 couples.
Yeah, and everyone even spent the night at our home, so it was fun. We shared a lot of meals together and just had an incredible time of sharing and praying for GFI and for each other.
And I guess thank you guys for praying for us for that weekend and for the time together, because many of you were praying as we were praying.
And many acknowledged that we were going to be praying to, which we definitely appreciated.
Yeah, and we'd love to hear how that went, if there was any insights or thoughts that you had from your time in prayer. I'd love to hear about that. But we have that prayer guide that we sent out. If you still need it, let us know. But continue to persevere in prayer. But just a few things about the weekend. I think we had mentioned the Lead with Prayer book, which if you haven't read it, really recommend. And
just for your personal life.
Personal, really good. It's by Ryan Scoop, Peter Greer, and Cameron Doolittle. And I believe we had shared on our last update that we had just been feeling that there was, as we were trying to make plans and plan for the next year, a few of us kept feeling like a stop, that this needed to happen first. I know Gary even shared, you had a kind of a picture of a curtain and hearing sounds of preparation behind the curtain and wanting to open it, but you felt a stop, that there's still more.
Yeah, I think that it was all generated from the use of the word ministry and what that meant in terms that it kind of reduces everything that God has done down to something man can perform. And I just felt, as we were talking about ministry and what's going to happen, and we had these high hopes that we're going to walk away with a complete vision and an answer. And I just felt that the Lord was saying, no, not yet. You could hear me behind the stage. I'm setting everything up. You could hear the pounding and the framing. Something glorious is being set up for you, but we're not ready to open the curtain. And I had communicated that was from my heart. I just felt that something wonderful is about to happen, but we did not walk away from the prayer weekend with, here's the vision, here's where we're going. But
these are the steps to take.
But something wonderful is about to happen, and when that curtain does open, we will know it, because we can already hear the Lord is at work behind that curtain.
And it was reminding everybody together, and us too, that this is the work that the Lord began. And many of you have been with us a long time, so you've been on this journey, and we've said repeatedly that we all need to be reminded that this is not a ministry that we set out to do, but a work that God began, and He brought all of you into it to journey with us. So it's needful to be reminded. And it's true, we all went into this not knowing what to expect and trying our best not to have set expectations. And I think it was kind of neat. We ended Saturday about 1 o'clock, and everyone left. And then you got a text.
Yeah, I had been in some conversations, a mean game of text tag with one of the pastors at our church at Seacoast. And was truthfully getting a little frustrated, because I had heard that Seacoast really wanted to they were lamenting that there weren't a ton of parenting classes going on, knowing the resources that we have within our church.
And so many of those,
And so
that
many of our-
first generation have already been through it.
And so they're seeing this new generation. They're like, they need these parenting classes. And literally, we ended at 1 at 3 o'clock. I get a text from the pastor, and we exchanged food. We had everything set up.
The pastor of the marriage ministry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
who's kind of over
Right.
the parenting classes. So anyway, it's rolling at Seacoast, and it was nothing that we
Pursued.
pursued.
Yeah.
We were pursued to begin it, and so it's just neat to see. And I really feel like it's just the beginning. There's so many other things that are starting to happen.
And then another thing that we prayed about together as a group that, and I know some of you watching this are leaders that have been faithful, but that there were other leaders that we have known over the years that have led classes faithfully, but that the Lord would bring back some of those people that were couples that caught the vision and taught for a while, but then hadn't heard anything. Well, like, again, many of you they are now in a season of life where those young children are now having children. And we probably, I would say almost once a week, where either Lori or I are getting a message from someone. We said, oh, we took the class 30 years ago, and our kids are all grown, and they would like us to lead them through a class. And so that prayer of, Lord, bring back those seasoned leaders, or people that had gone through before and led classes, bring them back, and he's bringing them back.
Yeah,
So
it's neat. I've had
exciting.
several. Rich and I just had a Zoom call this past week with a couple, and it's neat hearing about their grown children who are begging their parents, Mom, Dad, what was that class you took? Will you take us through it? And we'll gather some friends. So it's happening. That is just so exciting.
And so some of you, if you're even in that season, and maybe your church isn't necessarily doing anything or approached you, but if your adult children are interested and they have friends, be available.
Yeah. So as you continue in prayer, ask the Lord, where can the gifts, the goal that you have given me as a couple, where can we use that? Who can we influence? Who can we teach? And I just think it's so neat that we can continue to perpetuate the next generation.
Say that 10 times.
I know.
I might edit that out.
And the other gift too that you have is all the years, the wisdom, the experience that you've gleaned and gained over the years. The things that you realize, okay, we did this well. This I wish we had tweaked a little bit more. You have this opportunity to share that with the next generation, because there's a lot out there that they're seeing, and some of it's just crazy.
Yes.
So thank you for joining us on that journey. So we're going to transition. Gary, last update we had, we talked about your new book, Gospel of Life.
Right.
So let's start there, but then you also have released an additional book since then. So why don't you talk about both of those and bring everyone up to speed on what's going on there?
Well, the Lord certainly has had me on a writing journey that I thought at first was just different from parenting. I mean, I've enjoyed it. It's more along the lines of theological thought. The Gospel of Life introduces the very concept, not only the how of Calvary, but the why. Why did God, the Holy One, give himself up for those who are unholy? And digging deep into what was behind the gospel, what is the gospel, and how is it, what responsibility do we have to maintain the purity of that gospel? So the Gospel of Life has been out, it's doing well. Great responses regarding the content. I'm personally blessed to hear that it has just moved people to new realms of thought that otherwise would have stayed dormant without the Gospel of Life. But in the process of writing the Gospel of Life, we began to realize, all right, if this is for the church community who understands the Christian lingo and are being introduced just to updated points of theology, then we still need to bring clarity to the seeker, because not all seekers understand Christian terminology. So the second book that is now out, at least at this point, it's on the GFI website. The second book is The Pursuit. And what The Pursuit is, it is a book that you hand your neighbor, well, who's not saved. You're good. You're good. But to hand your neighbor, the clerk at the bank, that person that has the kind smile at the checkout at the grocery store, the person you're witnessing to. When you only have 5 minutes, it's really difficult to get a conversion. But when you're able to hand them a book that explains Christianity and the Christian message, in light of all of the world religions, which is a big thing nowadays. What makes Christianity different than any other religions? Don't all paths eventually lead to God. That's almost like a central theme that I'm working with, and I introduce what the Christian message is all about: the love of God, the gift of salvation, and I do so in such a way that it invites the reader to come closer and to think more deeply about what exactly is true Christianity, what is the exact message of Jesus. So we're excited about that because I've always wanted something more than just a tract. I want to be able to hand that unbeliever, that stranger, that friend, because we have these books written, we have these stacked in our car, wherever we go. Sometimes we go to places knowing that there's going to be an unbeliever, so we just pack a book with us and bring it in, because it is a great book that you give to that neighbor, give to that seeker, give to that person who's asking the question, and it explains fully. And our feeling is, if they're not saved by the third chapter, then we're just going to have to pray more deeply for this person, because the gospel and the love of God is presented with clarity.
But do not fear. They have not replaced their vitamins, aka candy, on the shelf or on their countertop with books.
No.
So they haven't gone totally over the edge. If
No.
you visit the Ezra's house, you're still going to have some goodies, right?
Yes.
Because you're not going that far.
No.
Okay, good.
Because your kids would not allow that.
Right, exactly.
But as I said, as I was taking this sabbatical from parenting, at least I thought I was, I began to realize so much of our parenting is actually tied to our worldview and our understanding of the gospel message we came into Christianity with. Mm-hmm. And I began, as I was writing these two books, to discover a relationship between our personal gospel and how we parent. So then that got me started, and I'm already 2.5 chapters into the next book, which speaks to the transactional transactional parenting, which is, I give you this, you give me that. Because so often people come into the Christian community, come in and understand the gospel as a transaction rather than a transformational process. And as a transaction, it's a belief that, okay, God, I give you money and you bless me. I give you prayer and you answer my prayer. I attend church and you reward me throughout the week. And so that whole transactional, I think, perspective, mentality is not only dangerous in Christianity, but it's carried into our parenting. How much of our parenting is transactional and not transformational? So that book will be coming out maybe in a few months.
Yeah. Well, and in the meantime, if you haven't read The Gospel of Life, just would highly encourage it. And I think the other thing that's been exciting is the young people that are reading the book and just telling us how much it is blessing them. Yeah. So for those of you that still have children at home, personally, I think this would just be a great, both books actually will be great apologetics for your teenagers.
Yeah.
And if you have grandkids that are entering the teen years, this might be a study you want to do with them. So it's really a multi-purpose tool. It's really exciting to see these young people, and I'm talking late teens, 20-somethings, kids that are just really excited about it. So.
Both books are on the Growing Families website, and they both will eventually be on Amazon. But that's a whole marketing thing that is out of my control. But
and would you say,
we'll eventually get there.
Even if they had a baby, put it underneath their sheet?
And
when they sleep on it, would they
No,
Well,
They pick up something?
and if they
No,
have
that's
a-
baby
if they
wipe.
have-
They'll sleep through the night if you do
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
Our baby
okay.
wipe, baby wipe sleep solutions.
Yes, but if they're, it wouldn't be a.
Just goes to show you that not all my ideas get approved. That's just, yeah.
Also,
Anyway, we're
also
excited.
the audio book.
Oh, yeah,
We're
he's
working
working
on
on the
that, so
audio
we'll
too,
have the
so-
audio book on both of those,
Yeah.
and all the audios going forward. So, good.
That's awesome. That's great.
So we're not sitting home twiddling our thumbs.
Although we are trying to stay warm.
Yes.
Yes, we all are.
Yes.
Most of the country is
Yes,
right
yeah.
now. Yeah, I'll just remind you of the podcast. Episode 29 just dropped this week, and it was on owner or steward, just talking about finances and how do we look at those resources and how are we training our kids. But the one before that, I would really encourage you to listen to, episode 28. And that is
I think that's my favorite one.
Gary and Anne-Marie sharing 57 years of marriage and some things that they've gleaned over that. And yeah, I would really encourage you, if you aren't regularly listening to the podcast, please subscribe to them on whatever medium you listen to podcasts on. If you don't listen to podcasts and that's not a normal rhythm, go listen to that one, episode 28, and forward that on to people in your life that just need some encouragement around relationship, because I think that would be really beneficial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
And then a little update too on what we're going to be doing this year regarding retreats and gatherings. Julie and I are going through the process up at Big Toe, or the Mountain House in North Carolina, of looking at doing some remodels for the future and making a little bit more conducive for larger groups to gather. So we're taking this year to do that. It's going to be a year likely where we won't be having gatherings up there. So what we're
Because
asking,
of construction.
correct. So what we're asking from you guys is if you all have a desire to have gatherings, let's say in your region of the country, and you would like to help putting something together, we would love to talk with you about how to do that, what that might look like, how we could join you on that. We would love to be partners with you on that. So please reach out to us if that is something that is pricking your heart, that you would still love to do, and you would like to serve your region of the country with. We would love to be part of that with you for 2026.
Yeah, definitely. And they're just excited what the future of what we're going to be able to host retreats. We had 5 retreats last year that were just so phenomenal. Just really able to go deep and encourage some families. So that was fun.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to mention was Mom Talk Thrive. Anne-Marie and I just recorded one, well, it's like a small group, this past Monday on how to share the gospel with your children, which comes from chapter 11 of the Gospel of Life. We will have that up on YouTube very soon, but I thought that was a really fruitful conversation
It was fun.
and discussion that we had. People. Is that it?
That's it.
I was going to share just a little personal thing in our life. We have another granddaughter. That was fun. Ellen and Dan had a daughter, Claire Olivia, a few weeks ago. And Logan is getting married in March. So busy times in the young family as we expand.
Yeah. Super excited.
Exciting.
Any closing thoughts, guys?
Yeah, well, the whole season that we're in right now has been a blessing. Watching spiritual growth both at the top end, at the bottom end, with the young, with the old, with people in the middle. It's a blessing to us. It's a blessing to get those phone calls and those letters and those emails almost weekly, if not semi-weekly, from people we haven't heard from in years, but they're as enthusiastic and have been doing ministry behind the scenes.
Yeah.
We just didn't know about it. So it's been great.
And then the kids that we knew as infants, all grown up and coming to visit with their kids.
That's
So
right. It's always a
just
joy.
a real blessing.
Yeah, and they come voluntarily. So if
Yeah.
you're leaders, you just can't send your kids to go to the others and see if they can test you. But it's just this is something they do for
But if they show up on their doorstep, they will still take them in.
That's right. The vitamins are still on the
That's
counter.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, it's been good being with you all.
Thank you.
Have a
all.
great week.
Thankful for everyone.
Yeah, thankful for y'all.
We hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to see more. And check out the growingfamilies.life website to find more resources and to get connected.